Life can change in a single moment. Sometimes, the people we judge today are the ones who save us tomorrow. This is a powerful story of fate, injustice, and redemption. A black female surgeon is stopped and humiliated by the police, only for fate to turn the tables when the very officer who detained her ends up fighting for his life. And the only person who can save him? The woman he mistreated. Stay with us for this unforgettable journey. Chapter 1. A Long Night Ahead. Dr. Maya Collins could barely keep her eyes open. It had been a grueling 14-hour shift at the hospital. The ER had been packed. Car crash victims, a stabbing, a child with a ruptured appendix. Life and death had been in her hands all day. Now, she was finally heading home, the weight of exhaustion pressing against her chest. Her car smelled faintly of hand sanitizer and coffee, the remnants of a long night. She loosened her ponytail, letting her thick curls fall around her shoulders as she turned up the radio. Miles Davis's Blue and Green filled the air. She sighed, sinking into the melody. Home was only 10 minutes away. A hot shower, a soft bed, and a few precious hours of sleep. But then, red and blue lights. Her rearview mirror exploded with the flashing glow of a police cruiser behind her. A chill crept up her spine. Why? She wasn't speeding. She hadn't run a red light. Her taillights worked fine. Maya swallowed hard. Calm down. Stay in control. This wasn't her first time being pulled over. She knew the drill. She flicked on her interior lights, placed both hands on the steering wheel, and waited. Seconds later, heavy boots crunched against the pavement. A tall, broad-shouldered officer appeared at her window. His badge gleamed under the streetlight. Officer Daniel Reynolds. Knuckles rapped against the glass. License and registration. His tone was cold. No greeting, no explanation. Maya forced herself to breathe. She moved deliberately slow, reaching for her purse. "I'm getting my license now." She handed over the documents, watching his expression. Reynolds scanned her ID, then back at her, his lips twisted slightly. Doubt. Suspicion. "What are you doing out here this late?" Maya blinked. "It's not a reason to pull someone over. I'm a trauma surgeon," she said, keeping her voice calm. "I just finished a shift at the hospital." Reynolds let out a small scoff. "A surgeon?" His tone dripped with disbelief. "Right." Maya clenched her jaw. "Here we go again. You got any drugs or weapons in the vehicle?" She stared at him, unblinking. "Excuse me?" He didn't repeat himself. Instead, he took a step back, hand resting near his holster. The universal sign of intimidation. Step out of the vehicle. It had been a merciless 14-hour shift at St. Vincent Medical Center, and every second had been a fight against time, fate, and death. The ER had been a war zone. A pile-up on the freeway had flooded the trauma ward with victims. Twisted limbs, broken ribs, glass shards embedded in skin. Screams had echoed through the sterile hallways as overworked nurses rushed between beds, IV bags swinging from metal poles. The air had been thick with the smell of antiseptic, sweat, and iron, the unmistakable scent of blood. Then a stabbing victim had been rushed in, a young woman, barely 20, with a deep wound to her abdomen. Her breathing had been ragged, her hands trembling as she clutched Maya's wrist, begging her not to let her die. Maya had done everything in her power. And then, just as she finished closing the final sutures, another call, a 5-year-old boy with a ruptured appendix, screaming in agony. By the time she saved him, her legs burned from standing for hours and her hands ached from gripping surgical tools with unrelenting precision. But there had been no time to rest, no time to even breathe. Because in Maya's world, pausing meant losing a life. Now, finally free from the chaos, she had escaped to her car, seeking silence, seeking peace. But peace, she knew, was always temporary. Maya slumped into the driver's seat of her navy blue Lexus, allowing herself a rare moment of stillness. Her body felt like lead, every muscle tight from the relentless pace of the ER. Her feet throbbed inside her sneakers, her fingers stiff from the delicate work of stitching together arteries, muscle, and flesh. She sighed and ran a hand through her thick curls, shaking them loose from the tight ponytail that had been holding them hostage all day. The relief was instant but fleeting, like trying to hold water in cupped hands. The faint, sterile scent of antiseptic clung to her skin despite multiple washes, mixing with the lingering aroma of hospital-grade coffee that had fueled her through the night. Her dark green scrubs, once crisp, were now crumpled and stained with traces of other people's suffering. She exhaled deeply and reached for the radio dial, twisting it until the soft, melancholic notes of Miles Davis's Blue in Green spilled into the car. The slow, sorrowful saxophone washed over her like a balm, easing the tension knotted in her shoulders. She let her eyes drift shut for a fraction of a second, imagining the moment she would finally get home, a steaming hot shower, clean sheets, and the chance to sleep without the weight of life and death decisions pressing on her chest. She was just 10 minutes away. But then, flashing red and blue lights filled her rearview mirror. Her stomach dropped. A police siren wailed behind her. And just like that, exhaustion was replaced with dread. A one-story teller thanks you for watching. This is a story about fate, justice, and redemption. It reminds us that the way we treat people today can shape our future. What if Maya hadn't been there? Think twice before making assumptions about someone. Because one day the person you doubt might be the one holding your life in their hands. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more powerful stories. Until next time.